it's going pretty well.
Yeah.
I was just over there, I guess, a week and a half ago. Looked like they had done a lot since the last time I was over there.
Okay. Because I think the last I saw it was just kind of a big hole.
It's
So
definitely going to be
look-
very well lit on Markham Street. There's a ton of lights the whole way
Yes,
down
there
there.
is.
Yeah. Of course, if all those trees survive,
Yeah.
you're going to have issues about the trees blocking the lights.
Good. Hey, I'm gonna pick on speakerphone. I think we still have a couple more people that are gonna show up, but I'm gonna go ahead and put you on. Thank you. Okay, this is clear.
Who's going to be our next chair?
That's a good question. That
We
we
need
need
to
to start.
probably start at least.
I
That's what I
Aren't you VP now? So you just
I know,
move right up, right?
I thought we talked about that when I accepted.
Oh, did we? I don't remember that conversation.
Maybe in a month I'll feel different. Work has been so busy that I couldn't possibly have considered it this last 4 or 5 months, but I think it's nearing. We've been working a big project. It's slowing down. It's not like this week. We'll be done with that phase, so I can bring
Okay,
it.
so we won't press you right now.
I might feel different.
Patience. Where do you work at?
It's Insight. Used to be HP. Yeah.
You don't know Ronnie Price much, the name will ring a bell at all.
Yeah. Ron. Not by Ronnie.
Ron.
Ron Price.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He retired for us for, I guess, 22 years.
Yeah.
He retired from Parks and Recreation. But I know he had took a job over there. I talked to him for several years.
He's so nice. Yeah. He sets us up with all our equipment and stuff. So
Is that what he
anytime
does?
you need something, get around.
It's so strange to me because like he was, one of his position was for us was kind of, it wasn't technically a foreman, but that really was what it was. He facilitated projects and things like that. But so like he was always outside. So when he took that, he was telling me that he set up meetings and all the appointments and things. I'm like, I just can't see you in that role.
Yeah.
He's
He
like,
was always-
he's like, I love it.
Yeah, he's always walking around. Yeah.
So do you work at the facility on Sturgis Road?
No, I've been working from home since COVID. They kept saying they would reopen.
Is your business? Are they still located in that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think there are some people in the office, like they opened up a wave, and there were so
Well,
many that.
I
they
live over
allowed,
there. But it doesn't say Insight on the sign.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does it say on the sign right now?
We've argued about that. I don't know what the deal was with that.
I can't even tell what
It's,
that name is.
They'll try to
it
be,
DXC?
they'll try to be
No,
incognito
it's
over
got.
there.
They have a new one out. It's
I
not-
haven't been in so long that I probably don't know, but probably because like the bottom, I think they had both, sides of the bottom floor, so that was kind of like the primary, company there. And so we had like one half of the upstairs. I don't know.
Yeah, I live out there, and so we walk
Mhm.
like that loop because it's almost exactly a mile that.
can see that.
Yeah.
And you get really good sunsets too.
Yes. Yeah, we had great views from that office.
Yeah.
Where do I see lots of wildlife out there?
There's a lot of wildlife. We've seen fox and lots of course, rabbits and deer and copperheads.
Yeah, I'm actually ready to go back. I'm hoping they'll let us.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, it's not.
I think the ideal is kind of a hybrid.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
sitting there thinking.
Like a little bit
Hybrid
about
is the hybrid is the way.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
sent out a survey and asked like what people wanted to do, and I guess the overwhelming response from my group was they liked working from home, so they agreed to 1 day a week. So when it gets approved, I'll only have to go 1 day, so it'll be really nice. But I
Yeah.
think 2 or 3 days would really be preferred.
I agree with that.
Sometimes,
Sometimes it made it more difficult when we went all. It was difficult to facilitate some of the administrative discussion that needs to
yeah, there's
take
no
place.
discussion, like, because even Zoom or whatever, whatever the
It's-
virtual option is, like, you can't talk over each other, you can't have the little side conversations, you know.
It actually lengthens the meetings, I
It
think,
does.
because some of that side, what you say, side discussions that need to take place aren't taking place. So I agree, I always thought 2 or 3 days, you know, at the onset of the week and at the end of the week, to kind of get everybody moving in the right direction and then follow up sometime, hey, where are we at on all these things? But they don't let me make those. We're back full time.
I very rarely get to work at home. If I've got like a virtual conference or something, sometimes I can work from home
Right.
because honestly, like that is the hardest thing to pay attention to an all-day virtual conference. And you know, if you think about it, like if you were going to the conference in person, you would be gone totally away from the office and you would not have to be dealing with your office stuff. You know? And so I find it works better if I'll go home and do it because at least I don't have all the phone calls and people just like, are you there? You know?
Yes, for sure.
Well,
Okay, I guess I can go ahead and get started.
do we have I can't remember what we need for quorum.
We
Don't
don't
have a
know.
quorum. I think we have 5. Yeah,
Okay, so we can't vote.
we can't vote. But I guess we can go.
But we
over
can
some
discuss.
things. Yeah, so our financials, we have 13,545 in our account, which I think is pretty close to what we had. Should be exactly, I guess, what we had last month. So approval of previous minutes.
We can't even do that.
We can't even do that. Financial report, okay, old business. So Arbor Day, Conway Station Park tree cleaning update. That's Thursday, October 28th. Are we still on track to pick up and plant the tree?
Yes.
I think we are, yeah.
Okay, so,
And I will be there, so I can take photos,
okay,
whatever's needed. But I mean, other board members, if they want to, attend.
okay. Take photos and post to social media. Okay. And Kristen, you can post to social, okay.
Whenever we do that, if y'all share them with me, let me know, I'll get we'll do the same thing.
Okay, I'll probably, I'll just tag you guys for
All
a
right,
post.
Laurel Park tree planting, are we still on track to plant trees the week of November 6th?
I don't know yet what the exact date will be. I met with Trey and Steve last week to look at the exact locations that they would like some trees. And so we picked out some locations, and Bemis is on track to plant those trees. It will take at least 2 days, I think, because it's a kind of crazy process. They have to bring their tree spade without a tree and dig the hole, and then they drive back to their farm and they dig the tree, and then they bring the tree and they'll plant the tree, and then they'll dig the next hole, and then they'll dig it. So there's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of driving, and they're south at Little Rock, but so we don't have the exact dates.
So it'll be 3 days or so? 2 to
At
3?
least 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they thought they might be able to.
Did you decide what kind of, I know Steve had said something about willow oak. but
He likes willow oak, and that's fine. And
do
then
they have any type of like sycamores?
they have sycamores.
Can we do one sycamore?
So they're where they chose.
I'll
There are
take
two.
that one on the chin if need be.
Yeah. So there are two.
That's my boss.
There are 2 that are like really close to the playground, like kind of in between the playground and the bathrooms. Or
Right there on the north side.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna, and that'll provide good shade for the playground. It'll be nice. So I thought maybe we could do the willow oaks there. And I thought we might be able to get away with water oaks. The reason they wanted willow oaks is because the small leaves. That makes sense. So we might be able to do water oaks just because there already are willow oaks, and then we'd have a little more diversity. Because really, most people can't tell a willow oak from hardwood. But then there's another location that's more like in the picnic area, like where there are picnic tables, and we could possibly do the. I was was kind of leaning that direction also. But I think that Bemis will want to come look. There's Tracy.
Oh,
I think Bemis will want to come look at the site beforehand sometime too, so I'll meet with them
Okay.
at some point and if you want to go ahead. But so we'll get the time figured out. And I did ask for sometime around the 6th, whether it's like the week before, the week after, something like that, so it's close.
okay, perfect. Okay, well, we have a board member present to take photos or a video for social media, a time-lapse video.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll make sure that.
How would the time lapse work?
Time lapse would be awesome, just to watch how they planted a spaded tree, I think would be pretty fun.
I've never done a time-lapse.
I haven't either, so I don't know what that would, I mean, you would just take video and then speed it up.
I think so.
I think
Would
there's
you-
a time lapse.
Oh, yeah. Would you have to
I
have
could,
your camera
we
up
can
there?
maybe, we have a guy in our department, Skylar, who's really kind of tech savvy.
Yeah, see
He
if
may,
he,
I could talk to him and see if that's something he's ever done before, or would like, maybe even if he hadn't done it, sometimes he likes to experiment with something new that he hadn't. He might be willing to do that.
well, and I wanted to kind of make a little bit of a big deal about this, just because I think a lot of people don't know that the spaded trees are an option. And so just to see a different kind of tree planting and also talk about why we're doing that, because they're larger trees and they establish more quickly and they haven't been root bound and that sort of thing. So
I'll give you
Okay, are you talking about Conway Station or Laurel?
We're talking
that's
about
the Laurel Park, the 3.
We did just talk about Conway Station, though. We have a meeting. We're still on track to pick up and plant the tree. Kristen will take photos and post on social media. And October 28th is still the date.
Okay.
And I can be there to support if you need to.
Okay. I think we could, yeah, need board members. Show that.
And then,
Wait, don't know the exact times or anything, but
When-
it'll probably be
when
all
did that
day.
happen?
It's a fairly big program. It's 15 trees that are big.
that's exciting, 15.
This
Sorry,
year,
that just
trees.
sunk in, like, we're gonna put 15 trees.
I know. I
That's
don't know
awesome.
if I'd heard
Thanks
that
for
about
That's good.
Conway Station.
Yeah.
Laurel has 3, right?
Laurel's gonna do
Yeah.
3. Like, and the laurel trees are bigger. Like they're gonna almost look like they're gonna look
Mature, yeah.
pretty mature.
Yeah.
So who's funding, so that's where I wanted to just kind of ask, where are we with funding? I know Woodman project's gonna be separate, totally fine.
So
So the
we
tree board's still doing 3?
tree boards paid for the 3, and then we have the grant for the 15 conversation.
And we circled back around with them one more time, heard your suggestion in your
Yeah.
email, and, but I just think they were looking for something a little bit more smaller scale.
Sure.
I think they want something more hands-on too. that
Yeah, I think
they-
there was two,
Yeah.
kind of two.
But if they still want us to kind of feature them in the Arbor Day, you know, if we want to have some, just to show some of the community involvement, because I'm sure, I don't know what our stance is on that, but I think the promotion of their willingness and wanting to get out as an organization, and also kind of the timing's right to bring some awareness around opportunities to help plant trees and do other things. It might not be a bad idea to do some marketing with that if they want it.
Sure, and we've even talked internally about potentially encouraging, obviously we're going to do it wherever we do, but encouraging them to potentially even consider Fifth Avenue instead of Laurel. Since it seems like we're addressing Laurel Park, we have for several years.
Fifth Avenue would definitely
Yeah,
have some trees.
and plus the vision with Fifth Avenue is to try to kind of make it the Laurel Park of the east side of town. And to get there, you need trees, because Laurel Park is Laurel Park because of the trees.
And
So
it's a great park, and
that's
actually,
great. It's-
we had a team, not to derail, but we had a team cookout there, and I'd never spent much time, you know.
It's really been renovated.
And man, it is a well-used and loved-on park too, but we were there later in the day, but I could see for sure there's opportunity. So just know there's still an offer of some funding. I know we missed the grant for the Wonder Project, but I still would like to help contribute some funds and trees somewhere in the parks. But then use most of that money to maybe go towards Robinson or a different effort too. But still just know that that's still out there. So if we do Fifth Avenue or Don't know if there's even another park in the community that needs trees too, so.
That's the one that really comes to our
Okay.
mind. That's why we were, if they don't want to do that, then we'll let them do it. We're gonna try and encourage them in that direction.
Is there a water
Is that
system?
one of our people
Or
outside?
is it,
That's.
Oh, it's
Yes.
Sandra, yeah.
I can let her know.
I never heard of it.
Yeah.
does Fifth Avenue have a watering system, or would it be water bags?
Yeah, it's
None of the
like a
parks really do, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of irrigation like at Conway Station,
but no, none of the rest of them.
We should be on locker days of those meetings here, right?
Hey, how's everybody?
So the 15 trees at Conway Station, the grant will cover all of those.
The grant will pay for the trees, and it was a $2,000 grant, and all of that was to be used on trees. So the Parks Department is gonna handle planting and maintenance and mulch, and then we need to talk about a plan for like irrigation if you want water bags.
I think we can handle that, because again, that's a location that we have staff on site,
Right.
so I don't think we need one back. We'll be able to work with it.
Oh, trunk guards we could talk about.
I think the tree
Trunk
board was
guards,
gonna donate.
we've got
those.
those, yeah.
Tree board's gonna donate the tree boards.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next one up is
I saw
the
that.
photography contest. Which I think I was like, photography contest. What's the plan for inviting the community to participate? Be sure to include Ms. Barlow's class. So we had talked about doing, instead of an art contest for the students, do a photography class, or photography contest, and just have like the whole community. We can still invite the classes too, if they want to participate, do that like as their own art project.
Would it be possible to have like different entry categories, so like youth and, because we even, with the art contest, we used to lump all of the kids together, but then last year we were like, we really need elementary and like senior, like.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I guess we need to figure out what categories to, so I think that is what to do.
I know we talked about that, I'm happy to help you.
Okay. Okay, so do a social post plan for the contest, we'll work on that. Yeah, we need to figure out a prize for that. I know we had talked about photography doing like a gift card to some post, whether it's photography or sells film or, I know, I don't know a lot about photography.
Well, there are some online too, places we could do it. But I don't know, I actually had to miss the last meeting that we had last week too, so I owe y'all probably some time of organization, but probably we need to get a solid date cadence of when our marketing's gonna go and who we want to target and all of that.
So I'll be honest, cash prizes are probably the most, like, the ones that people want.
Yeah,
Like, don't you think?
not necessarily gift card.
I mean, a gift card I think is fine, but just,
Be nice to be somewhere local.
Yeah.
yeah.
What did we normally do? But it's been different because it's been through the schools, right? So
Right.
we've kind of done something different.
Yeah.
Of course, we could throw in all of our free little swag we're getting, but then.
We have a partnership with Academy Sports, and they give us a couple of gift cards throughout the year that sometimes we use as promotional, like when we're doing a league. I bet we could probably get them, they're like $25, but usually they'll get 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I
that's a good idea.
bet we could get that. I bet we could raise that.
Could
If
we
that
do-
was
Okay.
a decent prize and a good amount.
For the adults, could we do like, you know, when they have in every go, like the tree cottages, or the whatever, have we ever done like a trip?
Man,
Ooh,
I'm gonna take some pictures.
I mean, I don't know what we normally spend, you know, on the whole event and everything, if we don't have, you know, all
That
the
is a cool
expenditures.
idea for something, you know, like sometime.
Although
right?
we're concentrating, do we want
You
to
get a lot of
send people to
participation.
another town?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, what do we have trees around here, but, you know, what?
Maybe,
Trying to keep
well, I mean,
it,
there are like local hotels that will often donate for silent auctions and stuff too, so. What if, yeah, so maybe like a weekend. But I feel like it would, since we're Conway tree board, like, might make more sense if it was in Conway.
are we keeping trees to Conway too, cause I know that's come up a few times, we wanna make it,
I think we should. 'Cause
I
think
think
we
it should
should
stay
too.
local, I think it's a good point, we should stay local.
Well, I think we can also give them credit, but use some of the pictures on our social media too. You know, that look a little live. Derek, are you gonna ask about the academy gift cards?
I'll get back with you.
Okay, so I'll put it in my.
What type of budget for this do we want?
Do we,
So we can nail this down by this week.
Yes.
so it's not included in anybody's budget right now, right? Any of them.
It's.
Did we have a general Arbor Day
I
budget?
don't think we've got a budget for it.
Yeah.
I
Is
think that's
Claire on the phone?
Claire?
Yes,
So do we needed 5 people? So with her, do we have a quorum then?
I hear like every other word, Krista. I can't hear what you're saying.
Sorry.
We have a quorum now, so I think we're gonna try and vote on funds for Arbor Day to spend, so like,
And we can approve the minutes too.
yes, and approve the minutes too.
Let's do it.
Okay, so,
Motion to approve the minutes.
motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move.
Okay, Tracy.
Can I-
Second.
Second.
Derek said,
Derek,
yeah.
okay, alright, so we're voting on, I guess, photography contest. But really Arbor Day funds, do we wanna lump them all in together? Or do we wanna just say photography contest now?
What other Arbor Day expenses are we anticipating?
I don't think we
What's
have.
your line?
Well, and the tree for UCA, I didn't know if we were including that in our Arbor Day.
So,
That
okay,
would be a donation.
so I actually asked the forestry division, cause you know, they donate a tree to every like tree campus or tree city. And I had told them that UCA is pursuing, tree campus certification, and could we go ahead and get a tree? And they were like, well, as long as they really get it done this year. But then it's like, but anyway, we haven't, because we had other plans for a tree, we haven't asked for a tree for ourselves yet. So we could make the tree for, like, so for it, we could use the tree that
Substitution for.
that forestry division donates to plant UCA.
Okay.
That's what I thought we could do.
Okay, so ask,
So we'll have that tree.
okay.
I'm just thinking expenses, I think there's that would be the only other one. And then if we had any costs, but of course we talked about marketing, so we were gonna boost post, in the training today, boost post, then, that would be.
And we have quite a bit of funds, I think, for working right now.
And then the other, I saw, in the office, I'm working in the dean's office, and they have a environmental, like, photography contest, I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Part of, what they do after, you know, Derek said we could display some art, I know we could just do some frames or whatever, but she said for about $15 a piece, they got some really cute,
Like it looked like it
yeah,
was
the
like
like
a
wrap canvas, and then they just
yes.
did little placards beside it, which we knew if we were gonna display them somewhere, and then, I mean, they could either have those, or we could put them in the extension office, or somehow use it.
Well, we talked about, there's a place at McGee Center where you could display.
Yeah. I mean, permanent, like, stay there permanently, or would it have to come down?
We could probably, how big would they be?
Well, we could do whatever that these were.
How many winners would we have?
Yeah,
So how
and I
much-
think, and the question about prizes
Is
is
how many, so categories, so we could nail that down, say we want any more than 3 or 5.
See, if it's a low number, we could probably keep them up for
Yeah.
a significant amount. I
So
want to
there's-
commit to forever.
I mean, there's
But-
kind of young children, so like,
Even
what do you
like
think, like,
youth, teenage, and then like adult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kinda think 3 is good,
I agree.
yeah.
So youth can go like up to
Up to 10, 12.
8, 10.
maybe
That's hard.
12?
Yeah.
I'm like trying to think, when does that art change, when does art really term change? Probably about 12 is kind of a pivotal year, I think, is when they really start getting into it or step away from it, so.
So up to 12, and
as far as
then
skills,
Then it'd be like 13 through 18.
okay, and then 18 or 19 up.
Yeah, so 3 categories. So there'd be 3 pictures that we want to display. So we need to budget for that.
So I was thinking,
So they're like 20-ish a piece. So there's 60. And then prizes, do we wanna do $25 prizes? Do we wanna do $50 prize?
But we can ask for some donations also.
Yeah.
We need to always be big.
I was gonna say, do we wanna do like an age range categories and then like a special, something,
Like overall.
yeah.
Best of show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what is kind of that grand scale. I don't know what we're looking for specifically in terms of the photography of anything we want. I know before it's been either education or city tree. Y'all had different themes about.
Yeah, what's the
Ours
best thing?
You could do like a board's favorite or something, or
Like that.
Yeah, deciding who's gonna judge these.
We'll be able to pull in maybe like something from the arts board.
I think that would
So
be
that we
neat.
can partner with
Hands of considers.
judges.
So I know, at Arts Fest, they do the community art show,
Mhm.
what's it called, the neighbors.
We did that.
And I think they do like a couple of $250 prizes and then they win maybe 500 or 1,000. Was it $1,000? It's a juried art show though, so. I think we're quite that.
Things that they're a little more sophisticated in their art program that they have there. But, yeah. I don't know so much with photography now. When I took photography in school, I mean, to do a roll of film was an entire day, sometimes days. So I don't know about
And now
time.
it's, well, because we're talking about doing
it's
digital
snapping.
submissions, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
almost no cost really to creating the artwork. Whereas that's the difference between like the Art Fest art show is, I mean, a lot of times the prize doesn't even cover what it costs to make the artwork, So. So I can't remember what our whole budget looks like, but what we
I can't remember what we have left over.
have. That's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah. So, okay, I was gonna say, so we don't have the budget. So tape,
I have our budget amount, what we've got, but I know we talked through it last time with what we have left, and I can't remember what that
Do we know what we committed?
So there was 4,000 for the interstate beautification, right?
Mm-hmm.
2,000 for the Conway Station Park.
Mm-hmm.
And
We
was it,
committed
did we
some-
say
We
like
committed some to marketing too.
Yeah, we got-
1,800?
1,800 to marketing?
So we'd already committed 1,000, we spent like 200, and then we did another 1,000, so we have 1,800 left.
And
Before
It
the
was-
stickers.
I think wasn't it like 3,300 for Laurel Park trees?
Sounds
was
good.
there about 11 budget?
And then there was some like trunk guards or something, and water guards, how much did we? Was it like 400? It wasn't a whole lot
Yeah, that
for
sounds
tree
about
care
right.
supplies. Really adding.
I'm not going to get to my car dead, we're doing car lots and then look at me, I'm sorry.
I can do old fashioned now. We're at 11,500 if all of that is right, which means we would have 2,000.
Yeah, 13,545. So,
I would say for the amount of time that we're gonna have really to promote this and the expanse, the investment right now, I think it should be good and not really huge. We have $2,000 left. It's 500 a good budget for it all, everything must happen, is that too much? We could do like 150, 25, or?
I think saying 500 for Arbor Day.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that's too much. $500 for all my dad.
I think we can make everything.
We used to do it for 5,000.
Well, I know, so like, we used to do bouncy houses and like all, but I'm like, really, because, I mean, we're October 4th, right?
Yeah,
So
so
we're
it's almost
talking-
exactly 1 month.
Yeah. No, we could extend the photo content just to give some time, so we have like a good 6-week range, you know, if we can get this
that's true.
out, just to give a little bit more time, we don't have to hard stop at that number 6, but still, I think, you know.
Yeah, you could be pressing them on Arbor Day to go take the pictures.
Yes.
If you're at
yes.
so,
Especially since that's when fall colors are nice. I think that makes more sense.
So what do you think, like end of November, like after Thanksgiving-ish, contest ends maybe?
maybe right before.
Right before Thanksgiving.
Okay, so $500 to have a motion.
I will make
Tracy.
second, whichever one I need to.
Okay.
Would you announce winners like the Monday or Tuesday of Thanksgiving, or is everything just Thanksgiving done? It'd be better be the 19th.
And I don't know when all the school breaks start too.
Like,
or
that
when
just
people
that
start
whole-
traveling.
It's just that whole week of Thanksgiving.
Are they off the whole week?
I think so.
I think the public schools are. U of A is not.
And Veterans Day is November 11th, so that's kind of holiday, so maybe we could,
The 18th or 19th, yeah. I used to have a thing where, when I did a lot of Facebook marketing, I avoided Thursdays because they're the most high traffic day. But I don't know if that's true anymore because I'm not at the. Do you deal with that kind of stuff?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay, so the 19th,
so those are announcements, right? Is that what you're saying?
Just, yeah.
You're saying everything.
So then you have to have them actually do them. I mean, how long does it take to judge them?
If it's digital,
yeah,
I
it was,
mean, because we could send, I mean, I guess the judges don't even have to be in person, we can do this all.
like I said,
Have
have
them
them
submit all their,
12th and then give us a week to.
Have we figured out how they're going to submit them? Like, are they emailing, or are they, how are we uploading pictures? Like,
I would say email. I don't know, I mean, they could even submit it through Facebook probably.
not today.
What's going on? Anybody know? Does anyone know what's going on there?
I do.
it's just a major outage of all the social media networks except Twitter.
I think $73 million already been donated.
We were just asking about that, you know. Social media licensing or something like that.
Like, are people good?
Right? I thought it was my Wi-Fi.
I don't know if any of you use WhatsApp, but that's also down.
That's, yeah.
Interesting. We're back in the 80s.
And it doesn't feel weird, even with all the outages, I know South Arkansas, just communications in general, it feels very strange to have that. What's going on?
Okay, so contest dinner before Thanksgiving, we'll announce it on the 19th. That sounds okay, y'all?
And think you guys can just figure out the details.
Yeah.
In your committee.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so UCA tree planting, are we on track for this event? Yes.
I just got some updates today from the Yes, we are up to date. There's not really much that we have to do. Jerry Moorhead, who's at the UCA Physical Plant's gonna do most of it. I did talk to Larry and let him know that we would do the tree last month, so that's why I just wanted to make sure in terms of cost, we're still good to go. So Shumard Oak.
Shumard, which I think I already talked to Forestry Division about, but I think they maybe already ordered it. And they can deliver it, but we're gonna need to know where and when, and then also UCA will need to do it.
Yes. Okay, so it's gonna be November 5th, the planting will be, and it's during X periods at 1:40, that's a weird time.
It's X
So,
period.
yeah, so, it'll be during that time frame. So I'll get in touch with Jerry Moorhead tomorrow and just nail down time, but I know they're gonna do pretty much everything.
Okay, so Krista, you're gonna check with the forestry that they've ordered, and then.
I'm just gonna make sure it's on order, but I need to,
Then
UCA
Tracy.
needs to tell us when
Time and
to,
location.
time and location to deliver it.
So we'll ask that.
So, I mean, we could just deliver it to the physical plant and
They can do it.
that might be easiest.
Yeah. Okay.
So they got the equipment to deliver it to.
And I'll still mail that down.
And it'll be like, I think it'll be a 20.
Tracy, will you ask them if they're gonna take the whole?
Yes, they will do, yeah.
Oh,
They will do
it.
everything.
Okay.
So actually, the
25 gallons.
easiest thing would be if they would just tell us, you can deliver it to the physical plant any day that week or something, that would be nice.
Okay.
But just check with them.
Okay, so yoga under the trees update October 12th. We're still on track for that. We have a rain event just in case, which is the 15th or 14th. And then promotional materials. We ordered those stickers. We haven't ordered anything else. I know we're coming up on time. And I don't know if we have anything in our policy that we can use.
I mean,
There's still a few old shirts that are old.
Okay.
And
we should be able to get t-shirts, don't you think, real fast, we can get those ordered?
Yeah.
So, you know,
No.
t-shirts. Yeah, but just, yeah, a little.
there's a supply chain
Oh my
problem.
goodness. You know, so we do youth sports, and of course we order a ton of shirts for our youth programs, and it was for our fall league. We were able to get them in, we were
Down to the wire.
very.
Mm.
So, and I think it's color based, so certain colors are readily available and others aren't. And it's actually the primary colors that are not available in your more. So if you wanted a really unique color, then you probably could get it.
We often go with kind of earthy colors.
So yeah, if the color was flexible, I would say you probably could get it.
I think we are.
Okay.
Who do you guys order from?
John, the old Randy's.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Randy's.
He's
Yeah.
great. He's great.
Please get that.
We'll look into shirts and figure that out.
We'll look at that tonight.
Well, and I don't know
Send
if-
y'all emails.
Dustin Botsford, I think, maybe ordered shirts for
Yeah.
previous Arbor Day, so he may have some
I think he
connections
did.
also. I don't, might be
Okay.
worth checking to see where they've ordered them from.
Okay, because if we just do the healthy tree, healthy wise, that we all kind of, and that way it'll last us for a little while, right?
Okay. We can do that.
And Dire Mart mentioned that they could do a small order now to get us enough for Arbor Day and then do more later if we needed them in a hurry.
Did you find out about those bottles, the roll-up bottles, or the?
Yeah, Natalie found some of those.
Yeah, I
Okay.
found some online. I don't have internet right now, so.
Okay, well, I think that even if we did the healthy tree, healthy wise, if we could get a few of those in, and then that way it's not specific for yoga, we can use them for whatever like that, but.
Okay.
And for Arbor Day, we could even put those stickers on them, Natalie.
Yeah, that
We
would.
don't have time to get them customized.
Yeah, on the water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be cute.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look at water bottles too. I'll send that to you guys tonight.
Okay.
And if you'll just look at them and then we can go ahead and just get them ordered. Okay, and then miscellaneous Arbor Day events, are we planning any virtual workshops or programs that week?
So I could do something, because we did that last year. What's maybe like a Zoom program? Is there a topic that sounds fun to you guys? I mean, I could just do kind of general tree care.
What does everybody, I mean, everyone's kind of prepping that, should we be bringing coming back, like, the time of year, what we should be focused on, and the Parks and Recreation mulching.
Yeah. I always talk about mulching, believe me.
mulching, no. I'm just kidding.
So kind of a general tree care one. I mean, I got like a simple, like if you guys can think of like a fun name for a tree care presentation that I mean, I often just call it taking care of trees. I remember Kelly at the last meeting, she talked about like tree treasures or something about like treasuring your trees, or I don't know. So I'm open to suggestions if anybody has any fun names that would be compelling and that would be interesting.
Or just like tree care.
Just a general
Just
tree
a general
care.
tree care.
I mean, we could just call it tree.
We could.
But I can host the Zoom and promote it.
Okay.
And there will be no cost. Oh, I know what I needed to. So last time we did it in the evening, and I'm not opposed to doing it in the evening. I do a lot of noon time Zoom programs, and I actually have better attendance at those.
I think the brown bag series, like the lunch series, seem to be.
Well, and I think it's because people who work can do those often, and people who work, that their evenings are so precious that maybe they don't want to spend an hour looking at something. So we could do a noon time.
That sounds good to me. Yeah. If that works best for you.
How about like says November 2nd makes sense? At noon?
Yeah, the Tuesday. Sounds great. Okay, so we'd like to take on so you're gonna do the social media for the workshop. Social media posts for that week for Arbor Day. So ideas outside of our scheduled events, including sharing the mayor's proclamation, ideas from Arbor Day's media website, media downloads, etc.
I think we can share the UCA planting too, and that would be something we could.
Well, and if we happen to be able to get the World Park trees planted that week,
We could probably start it off with Conway Station too, since it's the 28th of the week.
I think so.
I think we had it pretty well stacked where we had something
Like
like
a lot of events in the yeah.
Okay. Anything else for Arbor Day?
No, I think it had come up about a tree track. I don't know if there's like a template for that, but that might be something we could push to the schools too, just for fun and activity, and they could post them to our social media or whatever. A little tree trick or tree bingo, I know.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
There is one on the Arbor Day website. I just didn't know if that was specific to like our region, because I know they're in a different area, but they do have some. I've seen them, the tree trek and the tree bingo, kind of on their website. I just wasn't sure about species, if that would be.
I could look at it and see if it
modified.
looks.
If there's something we could use, we could push that out to the schools and let them, because when Conway Court does their art contest, and to like the kids, I think just kind of submit and they share random bits of art, and that might be an easy thing to do.
So are we planning an actual like celebration on the 6th? Any kind of a, like it could be small, just like with us and the mayor and a few parks staff or some.
So, Venus is gonna plant on,
We're not sure.
not sure.
I don't know if they want to do it on a Saturday.
You see it?
Could we do it on a Friday and then we could have a small ceremony about it on Saturday? I mean, could they have it done by that?
That's kind of what I'm
I
wondering,
don't
like,
know,
if they.
Parks would, is that a?
It's Venus actually that, like, they have to work with their schedule and get out together.
Gotcha. But the playground, everything will be ready to go in Laurel at that time, right?
I would assume yes.
And I don't
We're
know if events
certainly
are
hoping so.
scheduled, like our color runs have already, I don't know what else would be scheduled at Laurel Park. Would there be anything that would interfere that we to do? Yeah. What if they could have them in by that week, then we could just go up and have some kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, just a really simple, like, 10 in the morning ceremony. I mean, if the mayor could, nice.
Or China, or somebody from the city.
Kyle,
our
would you be
planner. I'm like,
interested? You could be our city.
We could do that, do like a live,
The live,
kind of like we did at
Facebook
the
Live.
Robinson.
and I'm thinking it wouldn't be more than like, if we're not actually planting a tree, it's gonna be pretty simple.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, unless you wanted to invite them to come play in the trees, nothing official, we could maybe give out free. I'm like thinking COVID, you know, there's just so much weirdness around having a type of event. But the playground is new, I mean, it'd be just a great day to invite people to come out to the park.
How's that looking? When's that gonna open, you think?
Hopefully before then.
That's a big space, I didn't realize like how much it was gonna grow. Yeah.
Soon.
I think last
Our-
meeting
our-
we said the end of October? Or,
That's the goal.
yeah,
But we know how construction
he always
projects.
just doesn't like to give dates.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
just because with construction, it seems like,
Is the weather.
that's right,
Yeah.
but soon,
Yeah.
very soon.
Now I'm sad about trees on Prince that got cut down. I live right there, so I think it's for the new roundabout on Prince on Donaghy. I knew that was gonna happen, but when you see all those giant stumps, you're like,
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious, yeah, not to derail from Arbor Day, but I do see all the flags, like, do we know how many more? Like, I know we can't do anything about it and some of it's necessary. I was just curious if we just anticipated how many we were going to lose so that as a board, we can make a plan to see how we can support. Maybe some underpinning.
it's a lot.
I've even been concerned about the utility upgrades that they're doing to trees. I've seen a lot of severed tree roots.
It's on all the side streets downtown.
I'm gonna move this so I
Yeah,
can
we're
look
getting-
at you. No worries. It feels weird too.
Yeah, we were.
Left turn for down there. So,
And I think the city has some plans to upgrade the downtown area too, so, which I mean, there are a whole lot of trees there, but there's some.
Like,
There are
there are
some,
precious.
yes, exactly.
I don't know what the flag pillars mean, but I'm a little nervous.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember, I know there was a house on Caldwell, but it was pretty far down from Donaghy that I called. And they were asking about that tree, if they were gonna have to cut it down, and they said no. It was, I think it was for like a gas line or AT&T. So it was some kind of locate. So hopefully that's not gonna go too far.
And maybe I don't know if you're done with the event, but is the master plan maybe thinking of saying, okay, when trees do come down, there'll be some type of ordinance or plan to plant 2 more or whatever. in
That's
place.
what we're hoping.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to say what
Yeah.
the final plan
Yeah.
will have. But of course, I mean, that doesn't, even planting 2 for everyone, like, it's not a replacement value.
Well,
like,
yeah,
at all,
yeah.
You know?
I mean,
I think we're more likely, well, I don't know what.
because I don't think we can, there's no way we could have stopped around, I say we, but the tree board or the community probably couldn't stop a roundabout. I mean, that's city infrastructure, that's, I don't know.
Well, then your carbon, your greenhouse, like which is it? Is it the emission offset or is it the tree? That's
Yeah.
the analysis I don't have, but, hopefully they're weighing some of that and we can continue to consider. I know the roundabouts are good,
Yeah.
however. I love them. Never have to stop.
I know
I love them as a driver, but they're kind of awful for pedestrians.
I did notice that.
And when my daughter would walk from the high school to the Methodist church, and they would not walk down Prince Street, even though that would be the one, but you can't, especially right after school, you cannot get through.
It's the quest to
As
get
a-
to Chick-fil-A. That's where my kid is going. All this, there's like tribes of children trying to get across there in Paris.
And that's why all the pedestrians that are going between the high school and the junior high on Duncan, I think, isn't it? Because that feels safer than being at the roundabout, but then there's not an actual crosswalk at Duncan. Okay, that's not trees, sorry.
I know, I like we derailed, all very important. But so the Arbor Day, did we wrap that up? I'm sorry, was there anything on that?
I think we
Just to
did,
make sure we're
yeah.
done, okay.
So let's
Make a
consider
lot
this,
of
we need to
sense.
decide pretty soon if we're gonna do like an in-person thing on the 6th.
So I think like you said, doing like an invitation to play in the park, but maybe doing like a live and asking the mayor to come out. I think that would probably be good. Keep it like kind of small-ish. But
Okay.
what do
We
y'all
could
think?
even list like several different places people could go throughout the
Yeah.
day, just to be out in the trees, like just to do that, and then a proclamation just kind of set the day off.
So will they be ideally finished like by that Friday with the tree plantings there?
But if we can confirm, I think, can we find out, is Venus the company? How soon will we be able to find out a date?
I don't know, they want to meet me out there, look at the location so that they know what's involved. Because it's gonna take at least 2 days to plant the trees. We talked about that, I think.
No, I remember you mentioned it last
Yeah.
time, but it's a bit more of a process.
Yeah, because they can only plant one tree at a time and then they have to drive back to their farm.
I know what it is.
That's what I was wondering, what's going to go on.
The idea, if they could have it wrapped up and then we could do it all park, because that's kind of tradition, and the playgrounds there, but if not, backup plan for something that day.
Honestly, with virtual stuff, we wouldn't even have to we could totally record something. And then we could work with the mayor's schedule, so he could speak.
Yeah, have someone do like a
A
video
whole lot more success.
Uh-huh.
That sounded.
Cause he's missed, yeah,
That sounded as the.
I was gonna, that's always,
A lot
it
of
always,
granddads and dads
Yeah.
participated in that sometimes.
so maybe that's how we should
I like
approach
that idea,
it.
like a little
Yeah.
video, and maybe he's just kind of inviting people to come back and play in the park and check out the trees. And,
I like that. The city has videographers or,
Oh yeah, we definitely have the capability for that.
could you kind of look into what might be involved in just having a message from the mayor where he reads the proclamation and invites the residents of Conway to enjoy our trees?
Yeah, I can definitely look into it more.
Felicia just sent that proclamation over to me, so she should have it. If not, just let me know, Carl, and I'll do that.
Okay, great.
And that would be, like, we wanna put it out, like, on social media on, at least on the 6th, but you might wanna put it out beforehand, really. But just let everybody know that the 6th is Arbor Day.
Play in the park day or something.
Yeah.
So we had kind of like mentioned Fifth Avenue. Do you know if we're gonna plant any trees over there? Because we could say play in the park unless like Conway Station, Laurel Park, Fifth Avenue.
Well, I think he was gonna reach out to Woodman.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, to encourage them to plant at Fifth Avenue.
And depending
I can
on,
report back on that.
and if we need a larger tree out there through the Wonder Park, we could find large, maybe another
One
spaded
spaded.
tree, just do a large one out there.
Be a couple of great locations we can talk about.
Yeah. So we could do that and just be mindful of what the woodman, if it'll work together or not, but I'll go ahead and commit that.
I think that sounds
Are you thinking to coordinate that in the same time frame?
Well, I
That'd be
mean,
really nice, yeah.
because Woodman originally wanted to go to Laurel Park. We're hoping we can have, it'd be nice if we could all wrapped up Arbor Day weekend.
We got
So
4
much
weeks.
to do. We just had another trip and another park to Venus's Lode, so I don't know if that's possible,
I
but
think Woodman was really open as far as like timing. They were actually asking us what would be
Yeah.
a good time. And so, and they were asking us originally a location, and we suggested Laurel Park originally. I don't think they're gonna have any problems moving unless they have committed in some way since we kind of originally
Yeah.
pushed them in that direction.
Yeah.
right.
and just
Do
ask
you
if they would.
guys want to coordinate on the Fifth Avenue kind of
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
planting and how that might work in with our working?
Can do that.
Do you wanna reach out to Woodman first to see if they'll work, and then if we can get it in that week of, I don't know what the days will be between Laurel Park. If you physically, what will be required of Parks and Rec for the Bemis
Not
planting?
much.
Nothing,
Not much.
just overall.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna mark utilities and stuff.
Yeah, so yeah,
Seems good.
hopefully we can
That's
have
the
one or
nice
the
thing.
other.
I kind of think the spaded trees for $1,000 is a deal.
I mean, because you think of our, their
That's really
survival
good, yeah.
rate too, really, and the impact that we'll get from it, it really is.
Yeah,
That's
and they do
why
the
I think it's
planting.
good, it's gonna be good that we're videoing that. I don't think people realize that you can get a state.
That's a possibility.
Yeah,
I'm-
I don't think so.
No, there's a company in like Jonesboro area that does it also, but for Central Arkansas, I'm pretty sure that Bemis is the only place that does it.
The only reason I say that is there was actually a church member that did that and kind of posted it on social media, and there was this eruption around it. They were like, how do you get that done?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see the public's response to that, especially even with us.
That'd be a full-time lapse.
That's what we're doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Conway Station will also be that equipment too? No.
No,
No.
So
that's
that'll be a
more.
different, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, do we have anything else on Arbor Day that we want to talk about, or we think we're? Good. Good. Okay. The next thing, new business, I don't know if we want to get into this too much, if we can, if we need to. Forest management plans.
Seems like the first step is to create the committee like officially and then elect at least 2 of the board members to
Yeah,
kind of start the process of.
okay.
So actually, the sustainability committee sort of started looking at it, but we did not get very far. And I think right now Derek and I are on like, no, Kelly's on that. But it's a small committee.
Yeah, when I read this, I kind of understood what canopy managed and community action, but I didn't really know what the sustainable.
We actually struggle with those labels as
Labels?
well because they're
Okay.
in our bylaws and we're like, what does it mean?
Well, I think terminology is evolved, where I know even where it used to be more sustainability, now it's adaptation mitigation, right? You're looking at different, probably
Okay.
with some greening efforts or sustainability efforts in planning and development is how I understood that, just because of timing, but I don't know what it would have evolved into now, other than the same intent that you're gonna use it, which is looking at ordinances, right? Is that, or kind of auditing?
It feels like there's a
plan.
lot of overlap between
Yeah.
canopy management and sustainability.
So maybe when we look at that and we go into next year, we could adopt to maybe reassign
Yeah.
some of our roles,
So-
committees or something
I
like
think,
that.
especially once we get full, I think that makes sense. So if you bring on new people that may have different skill sets, that I think that would be a good idea.
But I do think the forest, the care plan needs to be not a 911, but a top priority, so we can get a good framework and structure around how we want it to plan out.
Because are you guys saying the forest management plan committee is a fourth one, like it be canopy, community, sustainable, and, or,
I think you could do that. Well,
I mean,
would that be against any kind of bylaws?
I don't think there's anything that says we can't make other committees.
community.
Sometimes I wanna scrap that
I'm like,
part of the,
more committees.
that whole part of the bylaws that talks about the committees, I'm like,
I'm sure there's somewhere in the bylaws how to change the bylaws,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Should be.
Yeah.
It says special committees may be created by the board.
yeah.
I do know Canton's not here today, but he does have interest in participating in that.
Well, and so, okay, so the thing about like community tree management plans is there are a lot of different ways, well, actually, there's a lot of different ways to write them, like they can look like all kinds of things. Like sometimes they're like 4 pages long and super simple, like this is how we take care of our trees. And sometimes they're a 200-page document that talks about like philosophies and super long-range plans and goals, and so they can look a lot of different ways. There are also lots of different ways to create them. Like you can create them with a small committee, and just have that committee working on it, or just like our board, or it may. A lot of communities, they recommend doing like having some kind of public input, whether it's meetings or just like a review opportunity to review it.
In my experience, it's better to have something to present and then have
Yes,
input
I
than
agree.
just from zero, because
Right.
from zero, ideas
You
get
get all
thrown,
kinds.
but nothing really happens, so.
So I tend to think and so that's the question, is how much community involvement or input do you want? Because it will slow down the process. But you have the potential to get some really good ideas.
I mean, the thing is-
and you get more community buy-in.
The subcommittee meetings can be open to the public, anyone wants to come can come, and then at some point in the process, we can say, okay, now let's call this this is the time, if you haven't been involved, to come and hear what the proposal is and say what you need to say.
But I do think it's important that we remember that, I guess, you have to read it. I guess we can pass our own, but if, for the city if the city council has to approve it, it's gonna have to be palatable to them, So.
And are you saying that community input would make that?
No,
difficult,
it might make it more difficult.
Yeah. But I mean, during those meetings, and depending of what is the thing that might pull the brakes on them, you could try to explain like
The rationale.
the rationale, yeah.
Well, and I'm not even sure, because it said, in the ordinance which establishes the tree board, it says we are responsible for creating a tree management plan.
Yeah.
Does it? I'm not sure that means that the city council has to approve it.
I thought we were to guide, aren't we to guide?
Well, the part where it matters is so that they can create ordinances so that it has some power, right?
Ordinances, but also just the way that the city departments manage trees.
Yeah.
I think number one, the city needs to be a good example of
Stewardship.
this.
Well, and I think, and we talk about incentivizing, because I see all the but tree care, and all the services, and like, is there an expectation that we have when they do business with our city? And I know that training and development are, I'm not quite sure what all perspective or what we would need from them, but if we incentivize those companies to do the training and development for their employees, and you guys with Parks and Rec, whoever's your physical maintenance, lawn care, grounds maintenance, is if we it's like we kind of need to get everyone on board with what we're looking for.
One very common element that I think is what you're kind of aiming at, one very common element in a lot of community tree management plans is that anybody doing work on community trees, so trees that are on city property, those people doing the work have to be supervised by a certified arborist. And in that way, so even companies that contract, so right now, like I think Olive Branch does a lot of the tree care in downtown. But I don't believe they have a certified arborist on staff, so then it incentivizes them to get somebody trained to be a certified arborist. And it's actually a pretty difficult certification. It takes some real education to get that. So I actually really like the idea of that.
And we don't want to exclude, I was thinking about how do you get them to the table, because if they've done good business with us and have met the requirements that we've had, how do we still continue to try to bring them along in the process? Because I think it's not just us. Most cities hopefully are looking at things like that. But that would be a step, and then I think training Conway Corp, utilities, streets, like their goal and focus is of course transmission, right, and protecting the infrastructure that way, but our trees are infrastructure, and so
well, I would love to see Conway Corp have a certified arborist on staff, which just means that one of your people needs to be trained and go through the certification process, as well as the Parks Department and Street Department.
So it's that organizational, not management. I think, we can have some really far-reaching things. Some things will have to be close, but then if we're thinking about a true, in my mind, care and maintenance plan of how we manage trees long-term, it can't just be the tree board looking.
I think what was said last time is that if we tell the city, can we do that, they'll be like, yeah, sure, but what is it that you want us to do? And that's where the management plan comes in, where we're like, here, this is what we want you to do, and then you can say okay or whatever.
Well, when that long range or that master plan comes in for like the Donaghy expansion, I don't know, because I was participating at the time, but of course we're noticing now and it's too late. But if there was a sharing of that information beforehand and there is a plan, a coordination, it's almost like our planning commission, I'm not sure who makes that up, but all of our different boards throughout the city should have a presence kind of in some of those conversations to make sure that all of the overlap, sometimes I think we probably cost ourselves money and time because we're shooting each other in the foot, not on purpose, no ill intent, and I don't know how to move it, but kind of
we're all working in our own silos.
Yeah, and really, if we can just kind of get a meeting of the minds once or twice a year, this is the bigger plan, here's the goal, and here's how everyone can contribute, then if each of the boards and commissions take that action, and then any departments that are connected to that get the,
Yeah, because not everyone can be the expert at this management plan,
right.
but if there's a rule where if you're going to have anything to do with trees, you have to come to the tree board and, explain what's the plan, so that way there can be some input from someone who does know what the management plan is.
I don't think it's connecting the dots, because I think their job is to take care of the streets, take care of the utilities. They're not necessarily, that's not their job to consider that. So they're having someone in those organizations to kind of point that out. And then we can't get everyone being our certified tree expert overnight. So I think when we consider our maintenance and care plan, it is that how do we get the employees to get that training over an amount of time and cost to the city, and those are things that would fall into your hands for consideration. Just throwing that out there. We want everyone to come together. Yeah.
So has to be like some type of motion to create this subcommittee? Because it just says create a special committee for the length of 12 consecutive months that will culminate with the submission of the committee's final report.
So we're saying there's 3 different ways to go about this. Is that what this is saying?
A special committee, advisory, or a nominating committee.
Can we not just make this
These are
sustainable works
choices.
committee, like an emphasis?
Okay, I thought they were steps. Are you sure they're not steps?
This is create a special committee for the length of 12.
And then once you create it, you elect 2 people from the board.
So the advisory committee shall be at least 2 members and any other people determined by the board. And then a nominating committee shall be composed of 3 members appointed by the chair with the approval of the board. A special committee is it says no special committee shall exist for a term of more than 12 consecutive months. So I think that's more of a short-term committee. And then, so I guess it really just needs, I think forest management would probably be more of a longer term than 12 months. Yeah, probably more of an advisory where at least 2 members work on this and then any other people that want it to be. Members shall be private, professional, or technical representatives, public officials working on problems of which the committee is concerned, and citizens who have special interest or experience with such problems. So,
The advisory committee, yeah, seems a little more flexible, doesn't it?
yeah.
I hate to get up, need not to go, but I got
Okay.
But if I'm needed for a vote, I'm willing to stay, but otherwise, I need to leave.
We probably don't have to vote on this, we can just kind of
Yeah,
come up
we-
with a plan and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about it again at the next.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Alright, see ya.
Take care.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, I'm still a little confused on this, I'm sorry. So we need to assign a special committee for this.
Well, it'll either be a special, advisory, or a nominating. So a special can only last 12 months.
So it seems like, since it's a pretty important part of
Yeah.
the tree board, it should be an
Yeah.
advisory.
So I was gonna say,
Yeah, because nominating is 3 members, but you have to go through, you have to follow recommendations and procedures of the Blue Ribbon Committee report dated February 23rd, 1988, and the request by the City Council by resolution.
I think that's actually, the nominating committee is just for getting new board members.
Oh, okay. Then, alright, we'll do advisory committee.
Who are the 2 board members that will be,
And it can be more than that, just as a least.
yeah.
well, I wanna volunteer for it, if we need more than, I know we need
Well, I think
professionals.
Canton
Wants to be on it.
wanted to be on it.
I think it would be wise if we wanted.
Well, I'm not actually a board member, so I would be happy to.
Advise the advisory committee.
So will
You
this,
are the citizen or professional.
so will this
Okay,
be the
yeah.
forest management committee, I guess, or
Say one more time.
forest management committee?
Yes.
Okay.
Forest management plan?
Planning committee.
Advisory committee.
Advisory.
Okay.
Forest management plan advisory committee.
Impact. There we go.
Because now that that's a thing, we can meet separately, right?
Yes.
Because, I mean, no offense, these are so fun.
No. We can get a lot of work done, right? In that too.
Being able to have a committee meeting at whatever location we choose at whatever time is.
Yeah, and I have a few tree care plans already saved in a Google Drive from.
I have a
different
bunch of
places.
resources. I actually have a template that's from the Chicago region. That's kind of interesting. I mean, it is like 90 pages, but it's definitely a good place to start.
Yeah, I love a template.
The template is nice. There's a little bit in it that is specific to Chicago.
Right. Okay.
So we're talking about Tracy and Canton.
Mhm.
Canton has been appointed as the official 2, and then, and then do we
Is that
announce
something you
it?
would want to be involved in, oversee?
I mean, if
stuff?
somebody else wants to do it, I don't want to take their spot, but if there was
I think
an
there's
opening-
room for
I mean,
any.
anyone, well, it would make
The
sense
more
in terms
the
of city
merrier.
planning, I think, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
you
I'm
have
certainly
lots of-
fine with taking a spot on there if there's room.
Nice.
Okay.
And Sandra, if
Yes,
would like to.
okay.
We've had other just community members that have been interested in this topic.
And Scott Meeks may actually,
Scott,
Be
yeah,
involved.
actually, we
If he's not
totally
too good.
should.
that might be something he would like to help
And
with.
that's a good way to get kind of involved.
What about JD?
I mean, and do we want to go ahead and try to set up like the first meeting and?
Should.
I mean,
I know,
I'm
like, let's
sorry.
get
Well,
once
my
you're-
calendar is open.
I was gonna say, once you're, and you've been talking about this whole thing, but maybe right after Arbor Day, since you guys are gonna be so busy with
Arbor
that,
Day's on the 6th of November, so
Around
right
this.
after that would
would that be,
be good.
I mean,
So we won't meet, or will we?
So that's a good, I mean, we could do an
Most people
in-person
working.
meeting, or we can do a
I think at
Zoom
least for the first one or first couple ones, it would be helpful.
to do in-person.
Yeah, so everyone knows what's going on. Because I mean, even forming it is a little convoluted, so
Sure.
I wanna make sure
Yeah.
we're, know what steps are to go, to be able to go forward, and how that's gonna work.
So anyone else on our board, want to be, who is not here? So Kelly,
Whoever is on the phone?
Claire,
Yes,
do you wanna be on the, forest management plan advisory committee?
I would love to be.
Okay. Okay, Claire, I'm adding you to the list.
Okay.
Okay. So the extension office is available for a meeting if we want to do that.
I would ask it be 5 or later, because I have 2 little girls and 4:30 at unless they're invited, but you don't want to.
so, and let me just circle back, did we say we wanted to have a meeting before we have our next, the next tree board meeting?
Next year is November 1st.
First. Yes.
I would leave that up to you guys that are busy with Arbor stuff.
I think,
I can do either one.
So what about if we make contact and then we could like the 18th? Are we saying try to get something in before Arbor Day or wait until after, or the November meeting, I'm sorry?
Well, I think Sandra suggested after Arbor Day since it's a lot of other stuff.
In,
Yeah, that would be great.
Honestly, I find like nobody works in November and December, which drives me up the wall. So it's a great time to get some stuff done. You know, I have a lot of time scheduled off, but
Do we need to keep it on a Monday or does it matter?
I have a few standing Tuesday evening activities. Other than that, I'm fairly.
I am gonna be out of the country from the 9th to the 15th. So, not then.
So that would put it, and then the next couple of weeks, then we're going into Thanksgiving, which will put us into December, so if we.
I mean, there's like the 16th through the 19th. If
We wanna do
we
that?
try that. I can't do the 16th. That's one of those Tuesdays. Yeah, traditionally people don't like Wednesday evenings. I'm fine.
Church,
Oh,
both
fun
right?
Wednesday.
So Thursday, the 18th? Yeah, okay.
Thursday at what time?
Thursday the 18th at 5?
Do we want to do 5 or?
Okay, perfect.
5 or 5:30.
And that's November 18th.
Let's just do 5.
Do 5?
November 18th, 5 p.m. at the co-op extension office.
That's good.
Okay.
I think that will work. I need to just check our calendar at the office and make sure there's nobody else in there.
I'll just got information. So cool.
Do we need to decide who is actually heading up the committee? Who will like be in charge of like notifying people of meetings and that sort of thing?
I don't mind doing that.
Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And is this one where we want to tell people in case they want to be involved or not yet?
So don't you feel like this first meeting will kind of be like determining what process we like to use? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Let's just let it be.
If there's
good, like,
time,
brainstorm.
we might be able to kind of toss out some general ideas. A process, determining a process.
Do we have anything, is there anything that we have in Conway that talks about, like, if we could get a nice wrapped up version of any ordinances or anything that's attached to trees currently in
So I actually
or,
did.
like, do we know where we're starting
So
from?
do you know about Unicode?
Say one more time.
Unicode. Unicode. So all of the city's ordinances are on Unicode. And you can search for like an individual term. So I think I went and searched for trees. And so then I just like copied everything I found and like stuck it in the Word document. So I actually do kind of have that.
And I know your iTree inventory.
We got that.
Would
Yeah,
be
so
good
some
to share,
basic
so some
data.
of the resources we already have, just so we can see what we're starting with would be good for that first meeting at least.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the standard of what's expected for Tree City, and then if there's anything desires from city planning's office, that would be a good time to maybe bring those to the table
So
too.
I'm not sure, but there might be like some planning codes or rules or things like that don't appear in Unicode,
So
right?
I'll have to look and see. There might be a few things that
Yeah.
aren't in Unicode.
So maybe you can do a little bit of research into
Yeah, and I
like,
can check
what
with James and see
you
if he has
guys
anything
have
else.
regarding
Because that's
trees.
important, I think that's an important missing part, is kind of what's
What are we all
the
where are
office's
we right
intent, where do we want to go, what is the aspirations thus far, so we can kind of see really where we are and where we need to go.
The FM pack, if you guys want to know what the letters would stand for.
Oh,
The acronym, the FM pack, Forest Management Plan Advisory Committee.
now? Oh, okay. I was like, what are you
The FM pack, we're the FM pack.
Yes. Okay, maybe we need it better.
yes.
It can be called tree management plan also, that's appropriate too.
I like forestry, don't you?
A
No?
lot of people would say urban
Urban
forest
forestry,
management
urban
plan.
forest.
The UFM pack?
UFMPAC.
Now it's getting serious.
UFMPAC.
I think, because we talk about expanding everyone's awareness of kind of, it's not just tree for tree. necessarily.
UFMPAC. I honestly, in Arkansas, I almost always use the term community forestry rather than urban forestry because there is not a city in Arkansas that will identify as being urban. Like, they just refuse. Like, even people, like Little Rock residents, they're like, we don't live in an urban area. What are you talking about?
What? Is
Yeah.
that a definition?
So, community, I always use the
Where's
term
the
community forestry.
suburbans?
But if you did
We
community,
could even
then it's
land
the
on our
C
name
of
at the
them.
next.
Yeah, we can do that at our next meeting, I
Interesting.
think. We can
Yeah.
have a something.
Community does sound
It's-
inclusive.
Well, it's funny how Arkansans, that term urban, they do not like it. Like, they just like,
I never knew that.
yeah.
We could get the urban farm project at
Yeah.
the library. No. I don't know if that scared anyone away or not.
It doesn't seem to, I don't know, when I,
Okay. And then, Krista will get your resources, you'll send us info, and then I know you kind of projects in green, you can send us, I'll send out some reminders about this
Okay.
before.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will not
Before you
tell
send any-
everybody until after.
So Tracy, just before you do any kind of a meeting announcement,
Yes.
just let's make sure that my office is available.
Yes.
Which it should be, but if I haven't like communicated that to you, just call or text or something and I'll check. People are always afraid to like harass me, but I need a little harassment.
I know, I feel like you're very busy and I don't want to.
I get a lot of emails, that's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
I can't get. Yeah, it's a mess.
I called her twice one day because I wanted to talk to the co-op extension person and then I wanted to talk to the
The
tree
tree
warden.
board.
And I mean, I hung up and then I dialed the next number without really realizing it was the same number. And then I got connected. Oh, hi again. I'm sorry. I guess I'm bothering you again.
We do that every day.
I still think it's funny that I'm listed as the tree board
Yeah.
first contact. It should probably be Kyle, actually.
Yeah, I guess we could look into updating that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know why they did.
I'm not sure why.
And I think the email on there, I emailed and no one answered.
It's a general
It's a general,
one. that
like trayboard@gmail or whatever. So when I emailed, I didn't
It just
get
kind of
anything.
goes to
To no one.
I know the is it tree board at Conway, Arkansas.gov? Is that the?
I
that your
believe
ad?
so, but I don't get those emails. I think those go to Lauren Hoffman.
They go to Lauren, and I think she got it to where they go to me and.
We were getting so many that they said that they decided they should go to the secretary or the secretary.
Yeah.
I didn't get a response, but it was recognized, acknowledged, and discussed.
But I haven't seen any in a
So,
long time. So I don't
yeah.
know
I'm
if they're
not
from
sure.
I mean,
you or not.
because
Yeah.
after I emailed them and no one answered, I talked to you and you gave me Rhiannon's email or something like that.
I think
Anyways. Okay,
Awesome. Okay.
well,
Anything else? Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're good. We'll meet again November 1st, which is right before Arbor Day. So any last minute things?
November.
Go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, Claire.
Okay.
We are gonna go.
What we started and.
Thank you.
Project money.
Hope you start feeling
Yes.
better.
And, that's part of one of the big trees.
Bye.
Okay.
But I just started at UCA this week.
Oh,
8 to
good.
4:30 every day, but I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I'm excited.
You get lunch or something?
I do, I was gonna say I can kind of plan on
Because
what's going around.
Lisa, my,
Thank you,
my
Colin.
older
Yeah, thank you
one,
all.
she
Take
said
care.
preschool Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
So usually for me, Tuesdays before 2:30.
And our tree.
Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're doing the,
Sometimes
come look at
Thursdays
your place
too, but
before?
sometimes I
No.
bake for,
Okay, so they're not, it's not as
Yeah,
stated,
so-
so maybe it's
but
the,
Tuesdays for sure.
I bet it's because that truck, they can't get it, that big
So I
stated
will-
truck, they
I
can't
know
get
I'm
into
trying
the
to
station,
get
but I think they'll be able to get it.
Yeah.
yeah, I sent them a picture, but.
Oh, for tomorrow?
They'll have to come look before or not.
Sure.
They, she sent me an email.
Yeah, just text me.
Okay, we'll get caught up, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm committing things, I'm like, I'm not even talking to
Exciting.
Sandra.
Yeah.
So that, and then
Bye.
the right stuff.
Yeah, of course. We always can
Yeah.
chat about this.
Who's on the locals board now?
Who is?
Yeah.
There's Lacey Starkey, Kim, Dewey Buchanan. There is, thank you. So you could remember that, Hendricks Professor.